Today we're talking about money. It's something that I've struggled with for a long time, but I learned along the way that we can, in fact, transmute our struggles into strengths and triumphs if we capture them. And I shared this last night in the Squarespace affiliate mastermind. So if you're not a part of that and you want to monetize your Squarespace expertise as an affiliate, you should definitely check that out. But the way we alchemize our problems into gold is first we take a problem that keeps coming up and getting in the way of whatever we're trying to accomplish. It could be work related, personal, and we put it into words and we get crystal clear on what it is. And then we look into all of the potential fixes for that problem. So I jumped, when I when I leapt, when I made the leap a decade ago, the big hairy problem was, how am I going to make money without compromising myself or who I wanted to become and the lifestyle that I wanted to live. And the immediate problem that kept coming up and getting in the way of these goals was, well, you need money and you need a way to transmute whatever skill sets, whatever you got, into something that other people will be able and willing to transact with. And so I started looking into all the potential fixes for that problem. Like every possible way that people were making money on the internet, I explored it. I looked at the pros and cons in relationship to me, and I analyzed what felt more, what felt most resonant to me. And so I remember early on, a friend of mine sent me this course by Seth Godin. It was like a $10 or $15 course on, I think, Skillshare. And it was my first like online course, like I, outside of traditional education. And I remember I was a little bit underwhelmed by the lessons. The first lesson was the difference between an entrepreneur and a freelancer. And I was a little underwhelmed by the lesson, but I remember thinking, oh, this is cool because there's a community of students who we're all trying to accomplish something right now. Like we all share a common pursuit, but we're all approaching it from different perspectives and angles, and we all have different offerings. And so I saw that as, ah, where there's a community, there's opportunity. And where there's a common course that people are on in that community, then there's like a potential market opportunity, basically. And I remember not too long after that, uh, someone shared with me like a network marketing opportunity. And I remember in the beginning, I was very skeptical of it. Um, and but there was something about like the way that the thing was structured where I was like, well, I want to focus on my business. I don't want to be trying to recruit or sell some other business, but I want to pay attention to how this is happening. And so I followed along long enough where I signed up for it, didn't end up making any money or like doing the kind of work that you needed to do. But I took notes of like what was going on and just the the sales system that was there. Um, and then I remember I was Googling web design proposals because I had a client who was like, yeah, send me a proposal. This was my first client. And that opened me up to the world of freelancers online, people who are freelancing online and doing this thing and making a lot of money with it too, it seemed like to me. And I thought, okay, well, this is more in alignment with what I'm trying to accomplish, or the skills that I have, right? As like a videographer and a web designer at the time. Um, and so I chose a solution and I gave it a go. This is the third step in alchemizing our struggles. So I chose this freelance path, and along the way, I captured how it unfolded. But I didn't capture it in a vacuum. I created a community where, along the way, I can take snapshots of, okay, where I'm at in the journey. And I kept an eye out for any gaps or missing pieces in the path that I had chosen. I was paying extra attention to every and anything that I had to figure out on my own in order to bridge these gaps. And what I found was a perpetual gap in which is why I'm having this money conversation now, is all of the different dimensions. Well, the money dimension, like my beef with much of the like online business community and marketers and experts and the stuff that gets spread around en masse, is that the it ignores the individual, because when you tap into a mass market, it's because you're also tapping into the truth that, as unique as we think we are, we have these common bonds and these common denominators which cause us to be moved in mass unknowingly. So anyway, um, I paid attention to the fact that everything that I was consuming was focused more on what to do, and you know their particular ways of doing things, which I never believed would work for me. What I believed was that there was a way for me that was unique to me. And what's funny about that is, like I just said, I'm not unique in that belief that there is a way for me that's unique to me. But I feel like unless that's addressed, then I'm not being spoken to. Um, and in this game of selling knowledge and information around these topics, that was always like a hole for me. This the fact that all of these ideas would be segmented in different ways. Like, I wanted everything to come together holistically to make sense for me. And so the fourth step is, once we've, you know, chosen our solution and we've captured uh, our trials and our errors and paid attention to what was missing, the gaps in our experience, we can now circle back and share our experience with others on the same path. Did you solve your problem? What extra what extra legwork did you have to put in to make it happen? Would you recommend this path? Would you spread the word about it? And so here I am, circling back to the person I was at the beginning of this journey, whose biggest concern, primary concern, was very simply, how am I going to make a living without compromising myself, without being someone I don't want to be, and while also becoming someone who I'm not yet? And that's the tricky part. And the solution to that I discovered for myself was that I don't have to have it all figured out in the beginning. I just have to be able to transmute from the beginning each step of the way into something that could be useful for someone else. And as often as I rinse and repeat those steps or that cycle of capturing my experience with a problem, small problems, and paying attention to what was missing and what I found as a solution, and then coming back and sharing those solutions or the things that were missing with others who are naturally in pursuit of the same thing, that becomes a virtuous cycle. That's what I call digital alchemy. That's what I have practiced and adhered to the longest or the most successfully. Anything outside of that um, has failed me. And so that's the thing that I'm most passionate about sharing, is that it doesn't matter where you are on the journey. It doesn't matter how many problems you are grappling with. The fact that you have chosen a path and that you have committed yourself to realizing a goal means that you are bound to run into challenges that, believe it or not, are not unique to you. They feel like it's just you, but many before you have had those challenges, and many will come after you with those challenges. But if you're able to take your unique individual experience with that problem and simply pay attention, capture that experience, whether it's like I'm doing now, I'm recording audio, or you write it down, or you make a video, or you do a screen recording, and figure out what needs to be added, what's missing, what have you had to figure out, what legwork have you had to do, what extra mile did you have to go in order to meet this challenge and accomplish this goal. And then turn around and remember that, listen, you're not the only one. There are others who, because they have chosen this path, because they have come from a similar place that you've come from, they're bound, they're destined to run into the same challenge. Like once you can tap into that fact that there are people who are destined to run into a problem that you yourself have just run into, then like you have the proof right there. Like it's already like in the pudding that, okay, what solutions exist? Okay, cool. Let me choose what makes the most sense to me. Let me find out what's needed to make this work for me even better. How could I amplify my result here? How could I go back and do this better than I did it the first time? And as often as you do this, you capture, you develop these solutions, or you develop your path to these solutions, and you expose what you've discovered, then an audience starts to develop, an audience of people who are, again, on the same path. And because you have made this a habit, they know that if they return, you're going to return with something good as well. Like you're not going to you're not going to stop. And that is digital alchemy in a nutshell. And so if you're interested, I am opening up that community very soon. Um, and I don't have all the details figured out, but it's coming to me. The important thing that I want to lead with is that this community is a place of transformation. And we go deep. Like, it's all about getting to the root and the core of who we are and who it is that we're becoming so that we can bridge the gap and we don't feel so alone. Because when you are struggling with these things alone, then you can end up stuck for longer than you'd like to be. Because the only way out is to release or to let go or to express something that reflects a different truth, one that is becoming, one that is uh, higher, more aspirational. So I hope that serves you today, and I'll see you on the next episode.